viewers, welcome to the Tough Hub, another exciting episode here. I am Mariama Kuli, and we are so excited to be back on this very important platform brought to you by Tough Africa Global, where we are all learning about, estate and development and what important informations we need to safeguard ourselves in purchasing a land or getting into real estate development. I am here, of course, with the man himself, Mr. Mustafa Njai. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mariama. Thank you. And yes, we are here to talk about real estate development and bringing all the players so that people will understand that it's not only those who are in the field like ourselves, but there are some other parties, that play very important roles in this industry. And that is why it's diverse, and we want to bring in every player so that they will educate us. They will shed light on a lot of issues that needs to be discussed here. So today we are honored and privileged to have within our midst nobody other than the Honorable Dr. Sekou Jabi, who is the first Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of the Gambia. Right. So, Dr. Jabi, you're welcome.
Welcome.
Right. Thank you, Taf Mustafa Njai and Colleen Mariama, and the entire the company staff of Taf Holdings. Really, I'm glad to be here and to talk about this very important real estate sector. It's so important to the Gambia and even many of our developing world. So to have such a forum, I know we all see many of the real estate sector along the streets also operating everywhere, but we don't know much information about it. So I'm so much glad to have such a forum and explain the bits of everything about real estate sector to the masses.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience?
Right, I'm Dr. Sekou Jabi. I'm coming from, born in Nyanikaya by Kuntauru. I did my high school at St. Augustine's, my first degree in the University of Sierra Leone, Forby College, in 1993-94, and in Manchester, doing my master's there in Manchester, 2003-2004. I worked with the Central Bank since 1997, over 20 years now, and I rose through the ranks to the level of the first deputy governor. And 2011-2014, I did my PhD in development financing at the University of Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. That's a brief about me.
That's great, Doctor. Now let's start. How does your institution involve in the real estate sector, the central bank, as a regulator?
Well, at the regulatory arm of it, I think there's some initiative at the level of government that Central Bank is a member of the task force to look at ways and means of how to guide the industry, how to guide the real estate sector. Because we believe every time you can have to go into the industry, we don't have much data on it, that kind of thing. And to be able to regulate that much, you have to bring them on board to be able to do that. At Central Bank level, we do also have our staff to purchases of some plots from the real estate industry. Agencies also across the country. We are able to do that across our staff, from cleaners and junior staff to level of the senior management. We do that. But currently at the level of regulatory level, there is some initiative being made, and we are very much interested to have that data in and be able to advise policy to go forward. That's so important for us. We are working with key stakeholders at the Ministry of Lands, I think Competitive Commission, Ministry of Finance, and other line ministries, plus Central Bank. We are part of that task force that we are pushing to come up with a guide, a regulatory form, sort of. A surveillance sort of, maybe not regulation as we regulate banks, as we regulate other financial institutions, but some form of surveillance to be able to bring them on board, bring them mainstream, to sort of mainstream them. That's key, yeah, that's important, yeah.
Yeah, but then how do you see the importance and development of the real estate sector in the Gambia?
It is massive, particularly after the new dispensation. A lot of construction. At some point, cement is even out of stock, really, out of stock. And people are building very nice houses. It's adding value to our infrastructure, it's adding value to our facelift of this country, really. So it's so important. But as I said, regulation is a guide. Regulation supports, it enables all those developmental issues, really. So it doesn't mean come regulation, no, you cannot build this here, no, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. But this is just to take into account people that are ready for the industry, people that have the wherewithal to go into the industry are there in the industry. Not just any time they can go in. Every other day you have problems in the newspapers. I bought land, I made my last payment, I don't have my documents, I don't have this. Some people don't even have capital. They go and secure a plot, try to sell it. Before they could sell it, in fact, give money to the landlord. The landlord would sell it to somebody who is coming up with the ready cash. So these are all issues that we are fighting, particularly in our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. So these are issues that it needs to be further regulated. And last time I was following up a program that was saying membership regulation, member regulation. I don't think this will be effective. We need the government's role in this place to be able to guide the sector properly. The importance that we cannot be overemphasized. It addresses housing poverty. We need to know in a year how much housing units are being built. This is adding to quality of life. This is adding to you can even prolong your life because you're in a very well ventilated housing. Sanitary conditions are perfect, the kind of thing. Suddenly you live longer, really. So there comes the role of government that we need to come in and try to sanitize this industry for the benefit of everybody in this country.
Okay, great. But now, Doctor, I want us to focus more on the financial side.
Yeah.
Because that's really your area.
Yes, yes.
Obviously, we are aware that you are the regulator as far as financial institutions are concerned.
Yes, yes, yes.
So what instruments or framework do you have in place in regulating the operations and transactions in this sector? Let me give you an example.
Right.
We do hear quite often, real estate developers or agents advertising that we can offer a mortgage. Either a payment plan, or we can give you a mortgage for 5 years, 10 years. So as a regulator, because I assume that mortgages should be given by banks or approved financial institutions. So what framework or instrument do you have in place in trying to regulate this?
Now, as I said, at the level of government, they are working on this. Where the regulation would be housed is still determined. But as I normally said, you can be in any kind of operation. Just like the credit unions, they were saying they are the cooperatives. They are registered on the Cooperatives Act. They can register cooperatives. And they do other activities, but they also do some financing aspect of it, credit, lending, and deposits and all that. And there you are going to another territory of another regulatory body, that is Central Bank. So whether you like it or not, you are stepping into a mandate area. You must regulate by us, really. And at the Central Bank, too, under the Non-Bank Financial Institutions Act, we also regulate housing institutions. I don't know whether they are putting real estate sector into that or not, but we are regulating the home finance, a subsidiary of Trust Bank. I say that's barely credit, but we wanted to see that volume of credit, how it is managed, what are the repayment levels, is it bringing some sustainability as far as the institutional survival is concerned. These are our areas, really. So, but I think, negotiations are going on. I don't want to conclude here as whether it's going to be a Central Bank or not. But certainly, Central Bank has the capacity, has the wherewithal, have the instruments in place to regulate real sector for the better. As I said, it's not to bring down the industry. Regulation is supportive. Regulation is an enabler. We are ready to go into this area. Like we did for, as I said, we did for also the bureaus. Bureaus at the time, we have transfers, you may not get your money. So when you want to sanitize it, we came up with the registration requirement. Each bureau must deposit, mandatory deposit at the Central Bank. It's say $1 million. Say. If people have transfers with you, you are not able to pay it, you take it from that money. No problems, no trouble, really. So that has been able to sanitize the industry. And today we have a software that all the bureaus, 135 bureaus are on board. 1 minute ago, I can know the level of remittances in this country. 1 minute ago, with the software. I can know the total inflows, the outflows in this country. By a click of the button, even linked to my mobile phone, I can get access. So if real estate sector is also done like that, have a mandatory deposit somewhere, that people are paying overseas, the diaspora, paying their monthly contributions, 5 months, 6 months, they pay all the installments, and they couldn't get their plot. There's a lot of dirty games here and there. They need to report to the regulator, and they are refunded from the mandatory deposit from the real estate sector. Because I've seen some people, basically with no capital, just finish school, have a plot somewhere, they go to institutions that are providing housing schemes for their staff, try to sell it there, here and there, and that's why they pick up. And normally, a lot of other troubles here and there. Every day, you go to a police station. Every day, you're answering a court summon. Every day is another thing. I think we need to grow out of that. The real estate sector is so much in this country. We need to guide it. It's sort of like a comparative advantage for us. We need to guide it so that it's sustainable. It continues to have that quality impact on our lives. Really. That's key.
Now, we know that data is very important and then knowing its significance.
Yeah.
How do you keep records, especially with data gathering?
Yeah, we have our data collected from the institutions that we regulate. The banks would send us every quarter report on their financing across sectors, on agriculture, on building and construction, on distributive trade, on name it, personal loans and all that. We have that kind of thing with the banking sector, but it's not all capturing the entire financing aspect of real estate sector. There are some that may pay cash to the office. There are some that may pay whatever. So we need to know what involves, how many housing units are being built, how much financing is needed, all that kind of thing. If you have that database, policy is based on data you have. Yeah. You cannot sit down and say, this is my policy. You have the data and you deduce data from the policy from the data you receive. This is key to be able to arrive at a very good conclusion. You need to have that data to give you that foresight. And you can also be able to project based on the data you have. But without data, absolutely, you can't do anything about it. Yes.
That's good. Now, Doctor, additionally, players in the real estate sector have proliferated over the past few years. Just ask me what you said.
Indeed.
Now, what changed? I want your response here. What do you think? Your opinion? What do you think that the change to cause this proliferation? And what do you think can be done to integrate or mainstream this sector to ensure what is being done is right? It's an opinion that you want.
Indeed. That's a very good question. As I said, I get back to the bureaus with the experience we had with them. Initially, the bureaus were operating just like anyhow. They send daily fax messages to the central bank. We put it together, that kind of thing. And sometimes some will not even come. Sometimes even if you fax, the ink is poor, it's not coming out fine. Basically, you don't have any record of it. You go to Westfield, go to many other major junctions. You have people with calculators, that kind of thing. They're changing money, changing dollar and all that. We couldn't have that much information about them. So we mainstreamed it. We say, now, anybody go into this sector, you must be registered, licensed by the central bank. And we have our requirement. You must come up with your memo and articles. These are the shareholders, these are that. So we identify when there are problems, these are the people we should follow. Is it? I believe the real sector should also go along the same line. We have the registration process is there. You have a memo and articles, how many social persons handling what percentage of the company, and what's your capital requirement. You have a mandatory deposit. If you fail in your responsibilities, you are deducted from the mandatory deposit and the people affected are funded. So it needs to be that mainstream so that we have the real effect of it and be able to capture the data to be able to know what's its contribution to our GDP. Nigeria did it in their East and Nollywood. When they incorporate this into their GDP, they become the largest economy in Africa. Really. So we need to capture, we can know every other corner today, there are constructions going on. If you are able to capture this, having that impact on the quality of life of people, you live in a very comfortable area, highly ventilated, compared to like the slums of Nairobi, Kibera, and other places, that kind of thing, really. So if we have this kind of units, it's going to add value, add quality of our lives, really. So you need to capture that data, knowing how much are we going, maybe survey conducted, to know how much the level of proliferation of the real estate sector is addressing housing poverty in the country. And maybe this could also be cross-country, not only urban-based, greater Bank area, cross-country. I normally travel across the country. I will see social security tablets everywhere, social security property, services property. I think all those things were being envisaged to have some kind of plans in those areas, really, so that we can reduce the urban-rural drift and all that, the rural-urban drift and all that, and be able to spread this kind of thing across the country. And also follow up your trip in Sierra Leone that you are discussing about all these kind of schemes there. Yeah, but certainly we need to support this sector. So regulation, as I say, is supportive. We need to support it, come up with guidelines, come up with registration requirements, that the right people, the people with the wherewithal, the people with the interest to go in there, not like there's profitability in this industry, you go in there and dirty hold the waters, that kind of thing, and move out, really, really. Because like at the Westfield, people with the calculators, you want to stop money transfer now or change your money now, they put more calculator somewhere and move into another business. Nothing to lose, nothing to lose. But what of people who rented high streets, who are employing hundreds, thousands of people, who are dealing massive, their daily living, their daily lives are into this area sector. They spoil it for all those kind of people. When those people lose that business, where do they go now? With the kind of heavy investment they have, really. So we need to have that so that even bank licensing, it's not everybody that can come into bank licensing. You have to have a level of capital. The people you are introducing as senior managers, shareholders, directors would have to subject to fit and proper. That these are the real people. These are the people with integrity, with that honesty, with that capability, qualifications, academic-wise, professional-wise, to able to run this kind of institution. We have all that at the Central Bank. We can subject to all that. Really. So I think this is key. Is good for us, so we need to protect it jealously and promote it.
But I think this is the same issue with the real estate sector. I think there is no proper censor. Because you see, some people will start up a real estate business when they're not even financially sufficient to run that business. And they end up getting stranded if they have to refund their customers. So I hope in the future there will be regulations put in place in that sector.
If they are lucky, if they are able to refund them. Some may even they will get refunded. And the other, I can tell you a real story. That was a financial institution, not naming the financial institution, that the core mandate, scope of the business of that financial institution is not into real estate sector. They went and buy, I think, 300, 400 meters by whatever meters, and said they want to sell it to their members. Not even conducting a survey whether their members like even housing or like the location that is being bought, that kind of thing. And they don't have the capital. They went to a bank to take some 20, 25, $30 million to purchase that land. After they thought they have a good news, they come and inform their members, hey, good news, we have a place for you. Where? Maybe Kachime or Kato or Nyofele. No, that's not the area we want. Really, really. So we get a problem, really. Now to resell that property again, you cannot have that 25, 30 million that is sold it for, that you bought it for, really. And there are problems. And at the end of the day, deposit funds were used to refund that money. I took years, the loan and the interest and all what associated charges to pay, really. At the end of the day, it was a negative impact, negative impact on the financial institution, really. So we have to get them to play by the book, the kind of rules of the book, that you work according to the scope of your operations, nothing outside that. Because you don't have the capacity, you don't have the capabilities to go into the real estate sector, and that's no entry point for you. So that's the end of story that we advise them to do, really.
Well, may I also ask further to that question, what you just said, using that example?
Yes.
Do we take it that financial institutions like banks cannot be involved in the real estate directly by selling plots or houses?
No, well, I think I'm a bit brief about the kind of arrangement you have with some of these banks, really. They can be part of, as you initially said, the mortgaging part of it also. Is that guaranteed when you put in a financial institution in between, really? Or even your employer in between? So that will be very effective. They can deduct the person monthly, be able to pay on time, but if one, the real estate sector and the real estate company and the staff and the customer, salary is not going through you. How can you deduct? Really, it's just you are trusting the guy to come up at the end of the day. Month he has a salary to come forward and make the monthly payment. But it's going to be much protected when you put in an employer or a financial institution in between. Where my salary goes, we agreed tripartite agreement. At the end of the month, so amount supposed to deduct from my salary and send to the real estate sector. There's so much convenience, really, so much convenience. But like. Banks can collaborate with it. It may not be your main function, main area of operation, but you can link up. There is so much partnerships now, that kind of thing. No one person can do all alone. You can always partner with some institutions, either real estate sector or other financial institutions. Or if the amount is that bigger, 3-4 banks can come in to syndicate and be able to take care of those kind of arrangements, really. Okay, there's profitability in it, and And that's a very secure arrangement. My salary is going in there. The bank is not losing. The real estate sector is not losing. It adopted and pay conveniently. At the end of the day, payments are all done. No trouble, no quarrels, no demand letter from lawyers here and there. Really.
Okay.
That's
Now,
good.
it is quite obvious that the real estate business provides some gains for the government.
Yeah.
What is the GDP contribution of the sector?
That's what I'm saying. You have to get the data for it to be able to know its level of contribution. And with that, you know, suddenly it's going to be significant. And with that, you promote it better, you regulate it better, so that its share of the GDP can be improved, really. But currently, the data to work on and be able to support the industry, you have to bring the industry
On board.
incorporated first, on board first. Be able to know how many are operating in the industry. Even staffing, job creation, you need to capture all that so that we know how much jobs are being created on a periodic basis, really. Most of financing, most of how many housing units are coming up each year. That can be added. I mean, Mr. Finance can even capture it in their budget speech. To know the quality of life people are now having as far as the house is concerned. That's all about Central Africa, the kind of thing, really. Affordable housing. In South Africa, after the black majority rule, there's so much promotion about affordable housing for the majority of people who live in the slums, really. So this has captured so much of South African people, particularly the black majority, and they be able to improve their lives, really. So data has to be there first before you go to the next stage. And data is important to advise policy. And that, if you have that policy, then that's how you can promote the industry.
Okay, so I gather we're not capturing enough data in this sector.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like in Nigeria, when they started capturing Nollywood or the Nigerian movie film industry, it became the largest economy in Africa.
Yeah.
But at the time, they didn't have it. It's like formalizing the informal sector.
Okay.
Is it informal sector, that kind of thing. At the time, we don't have data for it, but now we are having data for it, and we are capturing in our GDP. Even IMF World Bank, when they visit Gambia, at the time they were not looking at microfinance. But at the time they started looking at them, very much portfolios are coming in. And the number of people that are also captured in terms of access to credit, access to savings is growing significantly. They started having interest in it. They say we must capture this. Credit unions, they say we must capture this. Well over $1 billion in deposits. And credit well over $900 million in deposits. And these are going through people who may not have the wherewithal to access banks. Is it? Microfinance institutions the same. They are also capturing the other type of clientele that are down, the majority, forming the majority of our population, that do not have access to bank products, really, because of the level of sophistication, the level of the banks, really. So these are key to capture them and formalize them, and we add it into our GDP. That can get us somewhere, really.
Okay, that's great. Apparently, Doctor, cost of housing, it's high and it's increasing by the day. It's really high, and some of us really get accused of our houses not being affordable. I mean, I try not to be too defensive, but try to explain why the cost of housing is high. Mainly dependent on the importation of material.
Materials, right.
And this is hugely dependent on the cost of material.
Sure.
Not only material, but also labor.
Labor, yeah.
And the cost of labor is growing higher by the day.
Yes.
Now, I want this answered in two folds. Right. You are here because we want to hear your opinion for who you are.
Yeah.
And now, what do you think? How do we address the housing poverty, especially for the lower segment of society? You can come in your response, both in your personal capacity and also if you have anything, from your institution that can be done to address it. What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think first there comes the role of government.
Yes.
The role of government. If real estate sector are to sell, to buy the plots that are to be apportioned and sold, costing them very high, and they are in business, suddenly this will be sold at a profit, at a margin, really. You see, and the other housing materials and labor and all that, the kind of thing, are not calculated, and it's not coming in at the first instance, really. So government could prioritize this if they are to address housing poverty, and suddenly poverty alleviation, poverty reduction is key objective for every government. I say. So this needs to be practicalized, that some area has been allocated for affordable housing, and this could go for relatively cheaper costs. They are targeting the level of staff the kind of thing, I think this could be realized. I remember the Social Security Academy estates at the time, Bakote estates at the time, was targeting that kind of stuff in the civil service. And many of them are able to go through it, and today they finish their payments. And some even extended the building. And where you have your plot, you build your own taste, you're able to build whatever you want in there, really. So I think it's important that most of these things are addressed. But for the labor and the material costs, this may be out of control of the market, because if you are getting some of these things from, say, Turkey, we understand some of the materials are cheaper in Turkey. But if you are getting from Dubai or from other places and come up with the foreign exchange aspect of it, and your profit margin, whatever tax you are paying at the GRA, this could be escalating. And the labor cost too, this has no price. These people just think about any kind of price to charge. I'm building, I know exactly what it's costing me, really. So, I mean, but I think all that could be addressed if it is mainstream, if it is under regulation, and you can engage all these parties. As I say, it's all partnership, collaboration. You can engage all these parties to see how best we can make out of this real sector. Looking at its importance to house our people, our citizens, to give quality of life to our people. Even healthcare, you can reduce all that bill on healthcare, because we are now living in a very comfortable place. Frequent malaria, common colds and all that we may be prevented, because now you are living in a very comfortable environment. It is possible, really. It's possible.
Now, the Asian financial crisis that took place in 1997 destabilized the Asian economy. Can you kindly take us through this?
Indeed. In fact, I wrote a paper on this.
Yes.
Southeast Asian crisis in 1996-97 was because of several reasons, but the real estate sector stood paramount. Because this is what I was saying, the example I gave about an entity. These people go to the banks, borrow a significant amount of money, build 27, 35-story building. There, you don't buy the entire building. You go and buy flats, maybe 2, 3 flats, the kind of thing, or whatever, self-contained, how many, the kind of thing. And any other person also come. You expectation that people have demand, they come and acquire these properties, these flats. They pay you, and you return the banks their money. You build up a lot of these skyscrapers at the end of condominium. At the end of the day, there's no demand. Just like the case of that plot being bought, and your members do not want that plot. There's no demand. And you cannot turn that building into liquid cash to pay the bank. And we all know in the banking sector, the provision and the write-offs and all that. After 3 months, you don't pay, you start provisioning. 1 year, you don't pay, you write it off. The whole amount. That's going to bring down your bottom line. And as banks' bottom line goes down, affects your capital is eroded, the banks go down with you. Really, the banks go down with you. So these are all part of that. It's supposed to be that comprehensive research before you do all this. Before I go to the bank to borrow money, what do I need that money for? You have your small money that you can grow with. You add any additional to be complementing your own funds, so that there's 50-50 contribution. But no bank, in fact, would finance 100% of your project. You have to have your own equity that you can add bank loan to it and go there to finance, really. So for people to go to the bank in the real estate sector to do all this kind of thing, first you have to assess the demand. The location I'm going in, what's the demand? Maybe go to some institutions that are providing housing to their staff to assess their demand on that. The moment you have it, it's ready in the market and people are coming for it within weeks to acquire it, and you are out of the financial stress. But you do that without all that. I mean, I think many people, in fact, don't have the right financial advice to go into this. Some people have adequate funds to go into their business, but they still want to go and borrow funds to add it to it. You have your liquidity, you are not under liquidity trouble. You go to the banks to add more money, and you are just wasting it, and the financing aspect of it, obligation will be going to be very high. And at the end of the day, you don't achieve your project. This could be counterproductive, really. So Southeast Asian crisis is there for everybody. You need to do research before you take a loan. You take your loan, acquire this building, acquire this plot, build it to required standards, have demand for it, get your money, pay the bank, no trouble. There's gains from both ends, really. There's a gains from both ends. But if you want to just go ahead without any survey, without any research into it, this could affect you as an entity, and also the bank that you are borrowing money from. These are very critical issues. Some other aspect of the Asian crisis had been the compromise on lending standards. They were giving loans to people at will, business cronies, friends, families, the kind of thing. And these were excessive, and the loans defaulted, provisioning writers, and the banks could not also stand it. They had to go down with it. But as I said, the paramount to it was the real estate sector.
Thank you so much. That was a very, very interesting conversation there. Until we come your way next week on the Tough Hub, do remember to go subscribe on our YouTube channel and follow the links below on where you can watch this show. Thank you.
Tough Africa Global presents the first eco-smart city in the Gambia, the Tough City, located between Gunjur and Sifo. It is 30 minutes away from the Banjul International Airport. At Tough City, you will be able to live, work, play, and shop in a healthy multi-purpose community. This vibrant urban environment will meet your everyday needs with commercial, business, recreational, and other complementary services to increase the value of your home. With up to 5,000 units of affordable homes on a 500-hectare land, Tough City will be twice the size of Banjul. Prime location, stunning properties, and amazing discount of 20% for the first 50 buyers. Make an appointment today to secure your property. For more information, please call +220-776233 or +220-376-2333, or you can send an email to info@toughafricaglobal.com. Better still, visit our office at Madiba Mall, Bruford Gardens Estate. Tough City, a green and smart city, accessible to all.
Assalamu alaikum. Baati réew mi yéen a ko moom. Doole réew mi yéen a ko moom. Doole niti caaxaan. Borom doole ngeen. Borom baax ngeen. Moo tax ñëpp ñu ngi leen a déglu ci àddina bi yëpp. Gan yaa ngi fi fees tap pour dégg si seen kàddu. réew maa ngi leen a xaar ne kan mooy jiite si réew mi yéen a ko war a wax doole boobu ngeen am ci ñaari fan ci décembre 2016 ñeneenti at ca gannaaw ak lu topp ka ëppoon doole ñëpp ëppoon xaalis ñëpp ëppoon baat ñëpp dal di jël téléphone koo xam ne kenn xamu ko woon ci politique balaa moo taxaw pour nekk président ne ko jébbal naa la nguur lu ko waral seen carte wote bu njëkk dañ daan wax ne baadoo la mënut a xeex ak buur bon nag nañ ko jox carte yi rek ñu ne carte wote mënut a génnee président sakaatuma président boo xam ne bii bali fetel moo ko taajoon ci buur wande yéen ñeneenti at ak dara ca gannaaw ka nga xam ne bari fetel moo ko isi ci nguur ngeen génne fa ko ak seen carte wote wane ne carte wote moo ëpp doole bali fete te yéen ak nu ngeen baree doole yéenay toogaat defaat buumu njaam ci seen baat seen moromi nit def leen fas jël buum def ci seen baat war ci seen kaw di leen wax te dàqee ngeen di daw dàqee ngeen di daw ba ngeen kese ngee doo teg ci dara ci seen soo toogee naan man de baadoole rek laa man de jigéen rek laa man kay aw ma baat aw ma doole man kay mënuma dara maa ngi ci seen gannaaw rek di gën di wéy ca gannaaw maa ngi seen gannaaw rek di wéy ca gannaaw maa ngi seen gannaaw di wéy ca gannaaw ba dugg ci pax mi ci tool ndax su nit ki xamul ki mu doon du xam li mu moom soo xamul li mu moom keneen moomal ko boppam mu ñàkk ko kooku nekk ci àjjana ci kaw suuf moom mu nekk ci jaxanama ci kaw suuf juddu ci coono naka ci coono màgg ci coono dee ci coono doom ci coono dee ci coono set ci coono dee ci coono lu njëriñ la léegi coono boo leen tegoo di yéen a ko teg sa bopp doore ko ci ñeneenti fan ci 2021 ndax wate bale passé bañ fi génne ki ëppoon doole ñëpp ca la seen buumi njaam daga kenn notatu leen yéen a moom seen baat ak seen dox mu leen neex ngeen def seen réew moo tax wate bi ñëw nag du caaxaan ci ngeen a wone nag ni ndax jar ngeen a nekk doomi réew wala jaru leen ndax doomi réew borom baat la ko am taxawaay du nangu moromi nitam yàpp ko ndax ay nawle lañu mu toore ko ca président ba ñëpp benn carte wati la ñu am mooy wan na ñun ñëpp nawle lañ kenn ëpp sa doole ci suufi Gambie duñ la jox per boobu ngir xeet gi nga jógee duñ la ko jox ndax ci diine gi nga jógee duñ ko jox ndax yaa ngi jógee teer wala kaw duñ la ko jox ndax xeet ñi lay sa mbokk ñu ngi la koo jox ndig doomi réewi Gambie nga moo tax bugguñu xaajaale xeet ci suufi Gambie ndax ñëpp ay naw la lañ looloo waral ñu génn fi nguur gi ëppoon doon seen buumi njaam dëgg léegi nag ñu ngi leen a laaj ñeneenti fan ci décembre ban façon ngi Gambia moo war a juddu ndax doomi Gambie bu bees mooy mun a isi Gambie bu bees Gambie bi dàq ndóol ci seen biir kër yi dàq dellu gannaaw bi nga xam ne seet leen yoon yi dellu gannaaw bi nga xam ne moom la suñ dëkk yi def bés boobu nag ci ngeen a wax li ngeen bugg te loo leen bugg mooy lii am ngeen bàyyi ñaani juróom fukki at ak juróom benn suñu yoon yi baaxul soxla nañu ndox soxla nañu machine yi walukaay soo ñu ko defalee kay ñu ngi ànd ak yow bi faw lu nekk ngeen kebetu juróom fukki at ak juróom benn te dara du fekk léegi loolu jeex na soo leen ko buggee jeexal déglu leen bu baax soo leen ko buggee jeexal jeex na waaw ñu dem nag ci biir waxtaan bi naka la war a jeexee ku taxaw fii wax ak yéen na ngeen xam ne ki ngeen a tànn si mu nekk président la nekk ca kees gi ñu ko war a dénk ci at mii ñëw waxtaanee nañ ko ci néegi député yi léegi nekk na loi ñu ngi koo dénk si $20 million ak ñetti junni million ku doon xaalis si caaxaan de loolu lañ ko kees googu lañ ko dénk si te tànn naa ko yëg bon nag kees googu jógee ci poosam de soo jëndee ID card utee ID card da dugal nga xaalis si kees ko loo jënd nag muy sukura muy guróo lu mun a doon xamal ne yaa ngi dugal xaalis si kees googu ndax ki isi marchandise loi daf ko laaj foog mu jaarale ko custom mu fay juuti ba dal di yóbbu marchandise am ñu ne nag léegi loi may na ko doole la mu fay mu dugg ci keesi nguur gi mun na ko teg ci njëgi marchandise bi jaay leen ko angale loolu la ooy indirect taxation ñu ngi leen a lempo ci gannaaw su ko defee yéen waxtu wa leen jëndee marchandise rek lam dugal ca kees ga delloo ngeen ko bon nag lam dugal ca kees ga yéen ko fa dugal yow mi ooye sa bopp baadoo la yaa ngi dugal xaalis rek ci keesi nguur gi te xamuloo loolu mooy alal jooju ñun ñëpp ko moom ñun ñëpp ca teg ñu ne ku taxaw nag pour nekk président war ngaa wax nit ñi su fekkee ne yow lañ dénk aran kees boobu naka ngaa fexee mu dellusiwaat gannaaw dugg ci kër yi génne kër yi ndóol naka laa fexee mu dellusiwaat ci dëkk bi génne dëkk bi mu des ak des gannaaw bi mu doon loolu mooy seen liggéey ñu ne seen kër yi ñëw tax mu nekk ci ndóol ak niñ ko war a dàqee moom lañ leen a wax juróom fukki at ak juróom benn soo leen béyee tamaate bi doo leen am foo leen ko jaay juróom téeméeri junne xaleel fukki at ak ñaar ci biir diiri fukki at ak ñaar ñooy wàcce uti liggéey ci réew ana liggéey su fekkoon ne réew mu barke la ni kon li nga am factory boo xam ne soo leen béyee tamaate googu ci misaal dañoo ñëw ba ca naa ko ba yow doo jógati di dem ñu ngi ko jëndee foofa ci prix bu am maana bu laa génnee ci ndóol yóbbu ko ca factory ba ëlbati ko bu nekk tamaate loxati seen njaboot gi di fa liggéey jënd gerte gi ci yéen ci prix boo xam ne bii du tax nga nekk ndóol yóbbu ca factory ba ëlbati ko bu nekk diwlin seen njaboot gi di liggéey ca factory yooyu lu nekk rek nga xam ne ñu ngi koo liggéey meew mi sax lu mun a doon dinañ ko def cheese yogurt yooyu yëpp nekk ay factory ci réew mi njaboot gi mun caa liggéey ñële nga ca tool ya ñële ngay liggéey ca factory ya nii la réew di fexe ñëpp di liggéey jëm kanam ci misaal rek moo wan ne pour jëlee ji li nga xam ne mooy tamaate loxati bitim réew at male passé pour isi ko ci réew mi ñu ngi ci dépasse juróom-ñett fukki million ak ñetti millions de dollars te loolu mun nañ koo liggéey ci réew pour jëlee diwlin bitim réew isi ko ci réew mi ci at male passé dépasse nañ ci benn junni million ak ñaar téeméeri million benn junni million ak ñaar téeméeri million dépasse nañ ko ci loo xam ne li mun nañ koo liggéey ci réew mi xaalis boobu ñu dem yónnee bitim réew mu toog ci réew mi di dundal suuxal li nga xam ne suqale li nga xam ne mooy koom-koomi réew mi suñ doomi réew mi di mun a am liggéey bon nag li tax liggéey amul te doxalin bala moo tax ñu ne système change nañ wecci doxalin bi fi nekk baaxul léegi nañ ko wecci isi doxalin boo xam ne dinañ mun a samp factory seen njaboot gi mun a am liggéey loolu la doy santaane loolu la ñu wax ne dinañ ko def wante pour samp factory nag du nekk ci benn at ñaari at ñu ne dañ bugg a dàqandoo léegi naka lañ ko war a def ñu ne jigéen ñi wan nañu ko da ngeen nekk ci ususu di teg soo leen tegee kenn sotti teg keneen sotti ba ñëpp ba mu daj ñëpp nga am nag loo xam ne lii di nga ko jël yokkee ko sa njaay ñu ne réew itam teg la alal de ñëpp ko moom alal yi ñëpp mu nekk njëriñ ñëpp moo tax ñu ne réew ñu ne bon nag dina am xajjit boo xam ne ci xaalis boobu ma leen wax loolu dinañ ko tegee boor pour dàqandool samp banque bu ñuy ooyee coopérative banque su ko defee li nga xam ne moom la ñooy def yow soo nekkee béykat nga soxla engrais jiwu machine di liggéey ci naako yi soxla nga loo xam ne li di wërngël la pour dara bu mu yàqati li nga béy ca naako ba ndox ba nga soxla loolu yëpp su fekkee ne xalaat nga ko ak engrais jiwu machine nga dem ca banque ba mu jox la loolu nga dem liggéey jëlaat delloowaat la nga xam ne moom nga jël te doo ca def benn interest ndax teg la am nga sa waat ngay defar saabu di defar yeneen di nga dem ca kees nga jël liggéey delloowaat ca kees nekk borom mécc bugg a machine walukaay li nga ko am dal di ko jël di jël dugub bi di ko ëlbati mu nekk foriñ ba keneen di ko jël di lakka mbuuru su ko defee ñooñu yëpp njumtuwaay yi ñu soxla pour def seen liggéey mu ngi mel ni guddee nañu am na ñoo xam ne itam suñ wëllër la ñu woon wante nag ni mu guddee duñ mën a egg ci kër yi ndax nit ñi fi mu nekk nii am nañu xat-xat wante suma turandoo Babacar Cissé ñu ngi ko bàyyi xel amoon nañ fi meeting yu rëy ak Fatou Cissé ngeen jàppale ko bu baax ba tuuti mu gañe élection waaw mu mel ni loolu duñu ko mën a faj yéen nag borom doole ngeen borom baax ngeen kenn ëpp leen doole ci réew waaye di nga dégg ñenn nit ne man day baa doole rek la man day béykat rek la man day jigéen rek la aw ma baat aw ma doole maa ngi ci seen gannaaw rek di wéy ci gannaaw maa ngi seen gannaaw di wéy ci gannaaw ba dugg pax mi ci coon te yéen a yore doole réew mi yéen a yore baati réew mi moo tax ñu ngi nii taxaw tey pour waxtaanee fi ñu war a yóbbu gan ñi ngeen a dénk si réew mi juróom benn nit ñoo taxaw wante balaa ñoo ñëw pour ñu wotal le ne bi député yi waxtaanee nañ alal bañ leen a njëkk a dénk ci at mi ñu te d'accord nañu ci nekk na lu wax la nekk ca kees sa juróom-ñaar fukki junne million ak ñetti junne million xaalis si caaxaan seen ID card bokk na ca xaalis soo leen jëndee suukar jënd guru jënd war loo leen mën a jënd ci biti xamal leen ni dugal ngeen xaalis ca kees ko ndaxte isi marchandise bi lu waa dafa laaj mu jaar custom fay juuti su ko defee ba pare loi may na ko la mu fay mu teg ko ci njëgi marchandise bi jaay loolu la ñuy ooyee ci làkki tubaab indirect taxation ñu ngi jël lempo ci yéen bon nag yéen ñu ooyee seen bopp baadoola ñaar fukki junni million ak ñetti junni million seen alal bokk na ci ñu ne nag tànn na leen président ngeen dénk ko kees nekk alal li ñëpp ñu war koo liggéeyee pour mu nekk njëriñ yi ñëpp ñu ne liggéeyu président bi mooy fexe xaalis boobu mu del si waat ci seen kër yi xaalis boobu mu del si waat ci seen dëkk yi génne kër bi ci ndóol génne dëkk bi ci dellu gannaaw kuy taxaw pour nekk président dafa war a ñëw taxaw fii wax ne xaalis boobu suñ ko dénkee yoon wii laa jaar pour mu del si waat ci yéen ci kër yoon wii laa jaar pour mu del si waat ci dëkk juróom fukki at ak juróom benn façon ngi xaalis boobu ngeen daan dénk président xaalis boobu yëpp lan la jur ci suufi Gambie moo tax wote bu ñu ñëw nag du caaxaan bu njëkk yéen a daan wax ne carte wote mënut a daane président ne baa doole du feexal buur loolu lañ soloon ci xale yi pour boo xam ki nga doon boo xam li nga moom doo xam ni nga ko war a dénkaane pour mu jëriñ nit nag su xamul ki mu doon xamul li moomu xamul ni nga ko war a dénkaane mu jëriñ keneen moom la ko boppam yow nga ñàkk koo ko nekk ci àjjana ci kaw suuf yow nga nekk ci jaxanama ci kaw suuf judd ci coon màggee ci coon màggee ci coon dee ci coon doom ci coon dee ci coon set ci coon dee ci coon ci ñaari fan ci décembre 2016 réew mi jàng lam waroon a jàng juróom fukki at ak ñaar ci kanam ne baati réew mi yéen a ko moom doole réew mi yéen a ko moom xam ne président njiit la du buur maa si de ñu wër ci réew bi di jàngale ñu gis ne teel amul nit ñi du ñu mun a xam du ñu mun a ñu def ko suñu itte na njëlbeen ci suufi Gambia seen carte wote dina fi génnee presse ci ñaari fan ci décembre ka ëppoon doole ñëpp ëpp alal ñëpp ëpp baat ñëpp jël téléphone koo xam ne kenn xamu ko woon ci politique yi Gambie balaa moo taxaw ko nekk presse ñu jébbal naa la lool lu ko waral ka wax loolu balik fetel moo toxaan mu toog ci réew mi waaye seen carte wote moo ko fi génne wala seen carte wote yi mooy doole seen carte wote yi mooy baax yéen a ko bari doon mu sës na du dem leen toog leen fukki fan ak juróom-ñett dina dem su ko defoon rek ak ndax jamul kooku nag tey dina leen xeex seen bugg mi jaam daggee ba pare ngeen am baat am doole di fal di folli ngeen war a fal ci dalil ngeen dem di fal ci maate dalil mooy ngeen déglu président ak candidat yi wax naka la ñu génnee seen kër yi ci ndóol naka la ñu génnee seen dëkk yi ci dellu gannaaw jël seen per bi jox ko ki ngeen xam ne wax na lu am fudla loolu mooy wati ci dalil waaye wati ci maate ñu jox la ay t-shirt jox la ay saaku maalo di la jox la wu yëfi caaxaan yu nekk ay football ak lu nekk nga ne bon nag dinaa dem wote ngir lool soo amee wote nag ci maa tey nga am góori maa tey soo leen ko defee ba pare nag toogaa di wax ne waa politicien bu nekk wax ñu li lii waa ne coono bi benn la seeta ñu ngi wàcc ci coono rek nekkaat di kebetu rek bu fekk yaa ko tey bu njëkk nag kenn du leen sikk ndax ay borom doole ñu nekkoon ci réew mi ndax xamatu leen ki ngeen doon ñaari fan ci décembre ñu dagg buumu ñaam ne leen moom ngeen seen bopp lu leen neex wax kenn mënu leen seetee force ci dara ci réew mi yéen a moom ngeen waroon a ekkati seen mbagge nag taxaw dóor seen dënn ne ñun ñooy borom doole kenn du ma defati jaam si suma réew kenn du ma tuutuloo ci suma réew kenn du ma defati mu xat ci suma réew maa moom réew mii dinaa fi tedd suma njaboot tedd fi sumay seet tedd fi moo tax ñu ne woote bi nga xamoon ne moo amoon ci ñaari fan ci décembre 2016 pour dagg bu mu ñaam ngeen doon seen bopp xam li ngeen doon xam li ngeen moom xam li ngeen ko war a dénkaane pour mu jël ay leen woote bii ñëw nii nag ñu ne woote la pour dàq ndóol dàq noteel dàq réew
yemu atendo di annoncé ko bala na yin ta ko le bango kan jambi ya ne wakan ya kan ko suban ko ko mustuba do ta do ya ja do ko buru ja den ke ra ga ko bi no wala na ma ta ja so do ni bango kan ja ini asal si Arab, ayat kumpulan ya juga, amang juga kumpulan aku tinggal aku kumpulan jaga, nang nang jaga kalau juga kumpulan, di bangkuan nya rodala, kalau ada mele kontari kumpulan. Itu punya apa sih yang kumpulan kita kerja kali apa alasan? Kalau punya kita kerja kumpulan jaga kumpulan ngomong, atau hanya jaga kumpulan katensi, atau kumpulan apa presiden di bawah kamar. Bisa on the floor. Abang yang di dalam makan kuliner, siapa yang menjadi nasi box saja, His Excellency, alamat yang kusabare, Luxembourg,
Dia mula musuh lagi.
Lalu yang jadi kasan kalau kusir kalau jadi kasan je.
Kalau tidak mau kaya bagai hero atau lefai.
Lalu apa sih yang ada kalau semua ada itu.
Balik ni tak lefai ni kena.
Lalu kalau ada kata
Kulukan semua ada.
lalu musuh mati kamana.
Wanya kau musuh dia ya KCD.
Lalu kalau ada musuh kamu cukup bantu.
Tapi tidak ada lefai presiden baru.
Ibu mana lewat apa sih yang ada apa?
Bukan anu sebagai dia.
Kamu kan akan aku.
Anu kau cukup mana mana si musuh dia sila dia.
Lalu pun jika kamu musuh kamu bukan karena dia hanya aku.
Alai KCD majoriti musuh dia sih.
Jadi kita mau pindah yang itu musuh.
Ika kami LMD last minute dia musuh yang ini orang dia.
Ini musuh kamu dia.
Ayo nanti KCD aja kau presiden baru mau beda ya. Apa yang ada di bayar lagi mah.
Di mana orang bukan ada musuh yang mau lewat ini KCD presiden ada apa?
Tapi kau yang kadang-kadang.
Karena ada kita kamu memang punya.
Ayah tak tahu apa.
Lalu kamu juga bukan tahu deh.
Tapi sana dia.
Lalu kamu makan bukan mau bekerja. Lalu lalu saya berlalu lalu jalan kau ada jauh lewat kata mulut kau tu sekolah tu juga. Lalu ulang sudah lewat kata dia ulang apa sama masalah pada siang ini. Saya orang berbiasa ini. Ada saya berbiasa. Ya jadi ada untuk menjawab kamu bagaimana ada putusannya kamu putusannya. Lalu bukan tuan wasit kepala dia bukan dia bukan. Presiden ada baru. Presiden ada baru. Magil formu. Orang punya pokok pada dia. Apa? Lalu ya dah. Orang kata dia bunuh ke mana? Itu orang yang mau bunuh dia boleh pada. Orang jangan sih. Lalu yang kan tuan akan mana? Mana itu kamu ada. Mana kau ada orang. Saya ini akan ada. Saya bunuh. Boleh, akan ada. Dia sonda. Sudah ada musuh. Ini saya tidak tahu. Ini saya tak tahu. Mana hujannya? Mana hujannya? Ini dunia kita. Mana hujannya? Ini saya sudah. Ini saya sudah. Mana hujannya? Mana sudah.
President Barrow tambindi kari sabadro ala tonya fasa
alhamdulillah rabbil alamin kontaan ta baake politiko ya mola kasiya His Excellency niaje nga konton de wara mi la karola ikumo fata monda diamo siata nyanya yekumo chimenya rusingumba politiko ni ko fili bande ko alala kam man sa tombo aba ko ala ka tombo nyaadi ala ta jila na mo tombo aka ko betel kala man sa ala ta la ka man sa ka no to ni mo le sonno mo ko le son ko nyina be kala na man sa His Excellency nga wota man sa jela karola politik patili siata diamo siata bari min kuma yata Gambia dingol la nafa Gambia la nyatota kabara fa Gambia dingol ni awosute His Excellency adama
President Barola do ko ndeta nola jang non na fo wato tengulo ko bari ala do ko Gambia lo yajele meni la testi ngolo la kan imalo kan atani media meni nyanta fintindi la ala fintindi katu nyine kayro yalla nyimbam ko kanja Tonya mofele motindi mofele adum president mofele melina limani yafoto niaje nafo na dalilo le sotala
Kita yang mahu di dalam orang ini itu, kami boleh malam kami boleh anda orang kumas.
Lagi masuk ke dalam rumah mai, rumah hamil mobil nak jalan mandi, mai sani kacari, kalau mai hamil apa?
Sendo narko ada doko kali, anda cakap payah.
Pasal mana nak saya boleh boleh yang lain, dapat benda dengan kosan hati.
Anda berdosa oleh sani kau ni.
Dapat benda lagi, rumah nak jalan mandi.
Funding kialo musibuke, diting kiaba, ande nakate na donu. Paula keso.
Kita kian ni kalau orang nak orang mana lagi kita yang boleh dalam banyak lagi nak jalan dalam kosan kamu kai.
Because kita ni kian boleh berdosa. Sama masih seorang orang berada.
Lagi mana masih satu di mana ini?
Di mana usahamu?
Kalau sebab
Presiden agama. Nagana ni ko trapandu. Ni ko la na ni ko trapandu.
nak orang dari Banyu.
No lesbo.
Yang belas
Ini dada.
Tapi kemudian
Ya na ba de.
sesuatu yang mana?
Am si sama mo ni. Ko sa de.
Sebiji dari mana? Orang dari luar sana.
No
kon ñu jëm ko ñun daw yi dañ ne ñu te moo jëla ñun la gis ne ñu na la tay do ko me commencé liggéey bu la ko la moom ak ko ñu ne té fa solo bi lo xam ne la ba taw ci kanam ak ko mo ko té jé ga yépp la ko la tay ci la wax na ala ko ko sa ci la ko té ci ko ma bu jëla né ko ma bu sota ma kita ma bu jé fa ke ci sola isana dorma ke tinna ko bakule ko carte fayo dala mo le fatika na kibaro no mini do aforo ko ay ci to ko yakal kali mali yandi ko response la carte min kala be gënal ci amani ya ali min fay ko so ko dal do taro en te suñala no je ni carte fale ya no la carte fayo flota fora that's obstacle better na official result nada abele findilante na official
Lagi keseluruhan orang yang ngafai dan pulau Presiden ada baru lebih ini. I care also. I try also. But more after Presiden baru ini sesuatu yang apa? Suni yang ini mau dulu dari korea apa? Minalo seconda dopo la di ani cambia sono vicino accade stiamo che vediamo che il problema fanno le altre ma ci fu o mandi non ne devo poi mandare di cosa devo andare a fare cambia che in strada nei luoghi in tanti da mente in campo Ino mendenya, nyata tamende, ada mana sendiri hati, muda alatino pada, jual beli jawab mobil yang dekat di mobil lebar dari lebar. Bukan itu nih naso. Lapika kairo sama di bangko. Kalau development ke no kairo ko. Moto ni ayat na kiski siro ke. Na jibe ntolbe na kairo kai kardeo fayna dame. Nobody is here, nobody is going to be very needy to get kairo sabati. So we get up moto na His Excellency Murali State House. Ni imam momen no. Ina mesti ada kaca. Imam ya ko jibe. Memba soto mo ko kanon. Ka nyani nyada. Kullo me be soto mo ko ka wole mo. Ini ngaca soto ni president ara baru sisa. Ni kacata. Bukili nga wodo be jala ko. Reseko Ali hino wallahi nankali mo fete me hino so President Barrow only have 2 years focusing on the job of the people. If you really want to know who is President Barrow, you must give him full authority. full authority will begin next year if you re-elected him. Gambia elect President Barrow. You will see the development that you're seeking for. Infrastructural development yanda make la Congo. Because now when they have infrastructure develop. Oto more la balo to fall in Nola and more la balo for the develop Nola. For the Yomo is on a face load. Como infrastructure level. Como for the more for infrastructure for the more. Ni la que sino industrialized for infrastructure level. Ni la que lo chiamano l'Italia for infrastructure level. Basically, infrastructure is everything. In the slogan, no infrastructure, no development.
fanya ko shara nyawonya kala to shara nyawonya ita amura nola wala ke bi social media ke wala ba kala ta fora me ka president baro man do ko ke be tek 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 politiko wado le ba do ko na wado le ba ko ko kan nan ko le sonni ni ni politiko tambile na politiko landi ina fi ba ki fa ki linti na continue pour que ni banko do ko am de bulo be yele ni sonno mo fara be yele ni la ka kan nan ko be ka ko hani tan me mun na ko sono ay pare de do ko wallahi de president borom pare de mi do ko ni banko